So today for the second round of Eye to Eye, a colloquial timestamp, we have Bostock, DJ and producer. Hello, Harry.
Yo, how you doing?
Yeah, a very integral part of like the A&D process, like almost our in-house DJ has been on like every event except one, including the first one. So
Mm.
like, how have you been handling with quarantine as a music artist?
It's been all right. It's you lucky to have your projects. Lucky to have your projects. Sorry, the door did blow open. As an artist, you're lucky to have your projects, and you can funnel your energy and then get lost into that world. But it is when they run out, like mine have now. You're like, what do you do now? But no,
So
it's nice. It's in a weird way. It's almost like you've been given this opportunity to just focus on that, which is nice. But very lucky to be doing music. Like, you know.
how long have you been doing music? Because it
Um.
seems like it's been an important part of your life for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah. God, I think I first started making music when I was well, it wasn't making music. It was like four. I was 4 or 5, and I had this little fake keyboard thing, and it had like the sound effects on, and it just there was this one, and it was like it would all light up, and it was a fake keyboard, but it was like a synth. And now when I think about it, it was like a little shitty like £10 synth. But
Mm.
I didn't think it was a synth at the time. I just thought it was like a little keyboard toy, and I used to love that thing until it broke. But
Wow.
yeah,
So,
and then
and now carry on, please.
oh no, so just I think that was my first taste of like an instrument, and then I did the classic like try and learn guitar and didn't get on with it when I was uh, like 12 or 13 because my brain couldn't wrap around the notes and
Yeah,
things.
yeah. So there's like this love for music, and you doing it so early on come from your family, like your mom.
Yeah. So I don't know if I told you before, but my mum's got rheumatoid arthritis, and she was really bad with it a few years ago and couldn't move. Um, so she was house ridden for a year, and I think this was back in 2013. And she
So you
was,
were like 14, 15.
yeah, and she couldn't move. And the meds that she were on meant that she couldn't really feel much. But I remember one day sitting down with her in the lounge. I thought I would mix together some of her favorite songs from
Yeah,
the 90s, from raving, and
yeah.
like her whole face just lit up and she was moving, and it was the first time I saw her happy in like a
That's
long time.
that's amazing.
Yeah, so then I thought, shit, I quite like this. I'm gonna get in the DJ.
Yeah, yeah, amazing. So she was like big on the 90s rave scene.
Yeah, she used to hang around like she's there like Bagley's and the church, some like really big old 90s clubs.
Nice. In
It's
London.
sad. Yeah, in London, yeah.
So like, did that kind of shape your decision to go university in London to pursue music?
Yeah, because she used to tell me about it all the time as a kid, and also, you know, where I grew up in Fordingbridge, I don't want to, you know, be too harsh in a sense, but I think you can get trapped in a town bubble,
Yeah,
and um,
the everyone knows each other type thing.
yeah, and also just people's mindsets.
Yeah,
I the one memory I think as a kid which made me realize that I didn't want to, stay here is I'm quite into, hip hop, and I was into hip hop when I was like 13. Um, and like when you were like, year 8, I remember this one memory where I brought in a speaker, like as you do as a kid, and
yeah,
I put on hip hop like in the tutor room and stuff. and I was playing like some stuff because it was in the break, and I was playing some stuff like Jay-Z, Kanye West, and things. You know, the hip hop that people classically know.
Yeah. Is there any? Do you remember which songs you were playing?
Yeah, it was N-Words in Paris.
Yeah.
And I think it was like Stronger and shit. They were bangers, right? But the moment I put on some Schoolboy Q and like Absol or anything like that, I shit you not, I think it was 2 people said to me, turn that black shit off.
Bro.
Yeah. And I got in trouble because I started like going ham on them.
That's crazy.
And I said it's wrong to say that. And then I was told by the faculty that it was that we're kids and we don't know, what we're saying. And I'm like, no, you know what you're saying.
Yeah.
And that kind of cemented in my head. I was like, I can't be around these people like this.
I hear you. So like you kind of told us the story in terms of your mom and mixing her tracks got you into DJing and was like getting into producing a natural progression from that. Like, which one came first?
I think I've always wanted to do it, and I like did little bits here and there.
Yeah.
Up until the point where I thought, you know what, I'm going to put something out, and then I was going through. I think I was going through a real rough patch, with, family, substances, etc. And I thought I could like make it an outlet. So I tried, and it worked. So I thought, okay, we'll go for it. But yeah, the DJing did come before.
Well, did DJing help in terms of like giving you reference points when you did start producing?
Yeah, massively. Yeah, because I almost wanted to fill in. I think I wanted to fill in the gaps because I make the stuff I make now is because I think that it could fit alongside it, if you know what I mean. So I used to hear songs and be like, oh yeah, I really like that. What could that do? If you know what I mean.
Yeah. And like, how long were you like producing before you said like, oh, I want to make this my career? Or was that always your plan? Like, was it a hobby for some period of time, and then you're like, I'm gonna dumb down?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was a hobby for ages, and then I was messing around with this A Tribe Called Quest sample that I Like It Like That.
Yeah.
Which is like this like real nice like smooth slow jam. If you haven't if no one's heard it before, like go check it out. It's beautiful. And I just took this beginning bit and I had this drum laid up, and then I listened to it and I thought, oh, you know what? That actually it sounded all right. So I said, and at the moment in 2018 or 17, I think there was still this massive like lo-fi wave.
Yeah.
Which like lo-fi, do you remember like lo-fi hip hop all of a sudden was like, pushed all the algorithms, like pushed it.
Yeah.
But like lo-fi house got pushed up as well, like more grab, others like Ross from Friends, those like classical things. And then I thought, okay, well, I'll actually just put it online. And then I got a message from someone on Reddit saying we'd love to play it on our radio show as like a white label, and his name was DJ Spence, and I owe him a lot. He's in Chicago. And I owe him, yeah. And I owe him a lot.
Originating spots for house music.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I felt really like honored that he liked it, and he put it on the show, and I owe him a lot because it was when you're taken like seriously for the first time, it really does do wonders for the brain, because you're like, oh, I could do this.
Yeah. I hear that. So like, was that kind of like a turning point where you were like, oh, I can really push for this as my career rather than it being just a hobby?
Yeah, yeah,
Or was
and
it like
also
a bit more before that you were thinking, and this was just a bit more like a break rather than an inspiration, like well, an inspiration still as well.
yeah, yeah, exactly what you said. Yeah, I think um, I realized that because I actually left it alone for a little bit. I think
Oh,
um,
really?
yeah, I put it up and I was like, oh, cool, I've done this, and then I realized later on that you at the beginning, I think at least you don't have the luxury to stop for that length of time. The grind is like continual because it's so hard for a smaller artist to sort
Mm,
of break out of the mold.
definitely.
Uh, so I took a
You're
massive
doing
break.
it independently and might
Mm.
not have a massive support circle around you.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Yeah,
You as an
yeah,
individual, yes.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah,
So like from like being featured on the radio show by DJ Spence, right?
yeah.
Yeah. Like how long was it until you got in contact with AWOL?
Oh, about 8 months. So I
Oh,
Yeah, yeah, because it was no,
okay.
sorry, actually, it about nearly 2 years.
Ah, yeah, yeah.
Nearly 2 years, yeah. So, um, I, I, I don't want to ruffle feathers or anything, but it's through no fault of their own at
Yeah.
all. But I feel because of the way, like we could talk about it for hours. I think like about
Yeah.
the whole like record labels, um, like the way that things like SoundCloud have made it so accessible for music. There's so much music out there that labels cannot like pick and pluck what they want from it because they just get so much.
Yeah.
And I thought, and I tried, and I sent out the demos and things, but they do just get lost in inboxes.
Yeah.
Uh, so um, I found out about AWOL and thought that
Or
I
for
like.
anybody who doesn't know, AWOL is like artist without a label, AWAL.
Mm,
And how would you describe like an independent artist like incubator?
yeah, yeah. So they're like a label without a label, basically. So they have tiered levels. Um, they they will help you out as of when you need support, like as you grow a trajectory. But
Mm.
um, you keep 100% um, copyrights to the tracks. So you own the tracks.
Yeah.
They take 15% of all revenue, and that pays for like distribution, enhanced analytics and things, and the possibility of you getting upstreamed, I guess. So
Like it's like playlisting as well, I guess.
yeah, and access to playlisting as well. Yeah, although it's quite interesting because Spotify a few months ago launched the submissions tool within Spotify for artists, which
Yeah.
is really like good to make everyone stay on the be on the same playing field. I mean, it's great. But yeah, I applied twice before. I applied a year ago, and I didn't get anywhere.
So
And then
2019.
yeah, so yeah, and then I applied after that and didn't get didn't get a response. And then um, I thought I'd take a break, and then that was when the second Extinction Rebellion happened, and I got
Yeah. Okay, so tell us a bit more about that, because you were one of the only like music artists who came through or something one time, right?
yeah. So um, like the XR the original London uprising, 'cause there was one before, but
Yeah.
the April uprising was they put out an APB asking for artists, and I thought I was showed to it by a mate as like a not a joke, but as like a um, he was saying jokingly like, "Oh, you should apply," and I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, like I will actually do it." I don't think you think I would do it,
Mm.
so I applied and then was lucky enough to get the Monday slot, which was the first day. and we had no idea how it would go. We didn't think it would be where it is now.
Yeah.
But a lot of artists were, I think, scared to perform because of the activities that we were doing.
Yeah.
The
risk factor.
Yeah, and also they didn't know, how it would go and things. And I mean, I was a little bit upset about it at the beginning, but I guess I'm a bit more humbled now because I realized that people have, like contracts and things. But at the time, I was a little bit miffed as to why artists perhaps were waiting to see how it went. Even though they thought these things about the environment and climate change and things, they were waiting to see how it went before getting stuck in.
Yeah.
Which
I guess that's the benefit of being like an independent artist. You have like less to lose, so you can just go out there and do it, not have to think, oh, I signed this, I might lose this if I do it.
Yeah, definitely. And that's what I mean now. I have sort of found out a lot of things about like people in contracts, and it's a bit like, oh, okay, I can kind of see why.
Is it pretty contractual, or is it kind of converse with them? It's more of a partnership, or
so you have access to a support team, so you can ask them for help with getting it on specific distribution things. Like, obviously I'm in electronic music, so getting it on Beatport is good, but it's also quite hard because they're very, they're a bit selective.
What was Beatport?
It's like the charts of electronic music, kind of. I'd never really, I could, if I'm honest, I could never afford to use it. So because like if you're poor, you can't afford, like the £1 a track. And if you have like an £1,000 library, that's $1,000. Like,
wow.
But it's always good to, like pay for the artist's music and stuff. So I'm only just finding out about it really now. But I always find the dynamic interesting that in the 90s, electronic music was the charts. Like it was the charts. But now, because obviously it's kind of come down a bit more underground, there are places like Beatport and I guess Hype Machine and things like that where they stack the charts as to where certain electronic music is, like within the genre. So but so you get access to a support network. It's a contract in the sense that you pay 15% of the revenue that you get from it. But if they give you access, if they see trajectory or see a trajectory, and you're making the right moves and things, then they do have that label element where they can give you project funding. So they'll give you X amount for a project. You can do with that, I assume, what you like, as long as it's towards a project and things. And then, from what I know, they recoup a few more percentage points, just like any label would, off the total. So, it's nice. It is a nice system, and they're really
very new age compared to a lot of record label structures, which are like very outdated.
Yeah, I guess, and also who knows, but I actually haven't had much experience with electronic record labels, so I can't really speak on that because I haven't had any experience with them. But you never know when that happens, and I could be completely wrong here, but I have tried to look for it, but there actually isn't that much, the nitty and gritty about like record deals and stuff. There actually isn't that much on it. Like, there's things about like, the 360 deal and all of that. Like, there's stuff about the big contracts and things, but for the average artist who wants to release something on a label for like a year minimum contract, there's not really much about it. The nitty and gritty.
It's kind of like an insider's club with all that information. You can't have
Yeah,
like
yeah,
someone who be involved within an institution. It's hard
yeah,
to
and
express freely on the internet.
yeah, and it's not until you're part of that club, I guess, that you find out, you know. Um,
And like in terms of you, like there's probably even less information with electronic music artists.
yeah, yeah,
You always hear like rappers and stuff like talking about their deals and how they've been messed over.
yeah, 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 yeah,
With rappers are quite outspoken and such.
yeah. Because I remember, I've forgotten the name of the show now. I used to watch it all the time with Joe Budden.
Joe Budden.
Joe Budden, you know, the complex thing.
Oh, Everyday Struggle.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. And it
yeah.
kicked off because he demanded that Lil Yachty find out that he was on a 360 deal and he didn't realize.
Yeah,
And then that got everyone talking about dodgy deals where when you
yeah.
finish your minimum, you have to like zip back.
Mm.
But yeah,
Yeah, the
yeah.
dialogue is so important in terms of all the like label stuff, like what young artists especially are signing into. So like so far you've released one track officially in terms of it being on Spotify and Apple stuff.
Mm.
Starlight. So like what was the process behind that? Like was that an AWOL release that like they helped you with or
Yeah, no, so
and also
Starlight.
before you go into that, like how were you releasing music before? Like you've got some stuff on like YouTube and SoundCloud, right? Like
Yeah, 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 yeah.
so what's like the big difference between you releasing stuff on YouTube and SoundCloud at your own will as an independent artist, and now you're in this like deal with AWOL? What's the difference when you're releasing it on a bigger platform?
Yeah, do you know what? I actually haven't thought about that until you just said. Do you know what? I think that you think about it a little bit more. Like you.
Okay.
It's less of like it's. I don't want to say that when the stuff I don't put out through streaming is drafts, but
Mm.
I think if you're going to show, like if you wrote a book and showed the book to the world, it would be different if you showed it to a mate. Like
That
uh,
very
the
true.
audience size, it makes you think about it. And I spent about 3 months on Starlight, but it was a lot of that was my own personal not thinking it was good enough and all that usual
Yeah.
rubbish.
You
Yeah,
think you're proud of the songs because you like spent so much time refining it.
yeah. And you refine it so much, and then you lost what you originally had. So I just wanted it out there to as like a staple sort of thing. The Neverland, that that is really the more like
That's your art
cohesive.
EP.
Yeah.
Or all these song and project names are so ethereal, like Starlight.
Yeah.
You're saying Neverland comes from your like love of Peter Pan, like
Yeah, I was obsessed as a kid. I had the costume. I wouldn't let mum like take it off me, mate. Like I used to live in it. And I remember we didn't have a lot of money, and I broke the dagger that it come with. It come with a little plastic dagger, and we were so broke. But mum, I think for like my birthday or something, we drove up to Southampton and went to the Disney store in Southampton.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and that was my birthday present, the little £20 replacement dagger on.
So Neverland. Oh, I've heard Neverland, but like, for people which haven't, are you trying to like dip into that nostalgia, or like
Yeah, yeah, like just a bouncy kind of like more experimental stuff. I was listening to a lot of Leon Vinehall and Peppy Braddock.
So these like your contemporaries in like the lo-fi house scene, or like
Yeah, I mean these.
in London.
Yeah. So they're less lo-fi. They're more French house and sort of like experimental house. Yeah,
Yeah.
but like Freddie Hubbard, and it was like orchestral shit, like a lot of strings, a lot of violins, a lot of like slow rising movements. And I thought I really want to get that across as like the, you know, the thing. So I, instead of just like putting blocks and drum machines together, say, I wanted it to be more composition-y.
Yeah. Is that like you reading up on music theory to help with that, or was it just more the way you made the music?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know anything really about music theory, and I think I have a negative attachment to it from when I was a kid. So I think maybe I will learn one day, but it was more. Yeah, you're right. It was more how I put it together, like how it all flows and how the sounds connect, rather than just blocks of sound, which is, you know, sometimes what house can be to some people, if you know what I mean.
Okay, lovely stuff. So, like, you've heard how you started DJing, started producing, and yeah, you've talked about stuff you've released and what you're gonna release. So, like, post lockdown and after releasing Neverland, what are your like plans in terms of everything DJ producing? Still got like a year of uni as well, right? Still
So
got a year of uni as well, right? Like,
yeah.
yeah.
Um,
Or
so
you're
I was
not
supposed
thinking
to.
too far forward in terms of
Yeah,
everything.
yeah. No, I've planned some stuff, and obviously lockdown is, for like most people, has put a
Yeah.
block in a lot of people's things. Um, I was supposed to kind of start like a mini sort of residency in Hackney, or at least play there often.
That'd be dope.
Yeah, and it. I think for after this, I just want to like sort of go forward with the Big Love sort of
Oh yeah,
return.
tell us about Big Love. So is that kind of like your label, collective, or
Yeah,
a
yeah.
movement
So
almost?
yeah. So it's there's this track that was number one, and it's one of my mum's old favorites, and it always used to put a smile on her face, which is Pete Heller's Big Love.
Yeah.
And it's like one of the most like amazingest, because it's so simple, but it's like just gets a message across of like understanding everyone's loving. And I just thought I'd pay homage to him in that sense of the whole 90s, early 2000s, like the love and like a feeling and stuff. And um, sort of like your like Air and Electricity, and there's this other collective I know, Let the People, where it's all about like not being a crab in a bucket, don't drag others down, bring each other up, like put ideas together and do stuff, which is what they did in the 90s, you know, and in the 80s and 70s. People come together and like fought as one, rather than individual artists trying to just, you know, beat each other to the top, which is what's kind of happened, I think, for now.
So like, is Big Love gonna be doing events, releasing music, and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I did that classic thing that sometimes you have to do when you're starting out, where you make a label to release on yourself.
Mm.
Um, but I actually had a demo sent to me the other day for it, and I had to apologize and say it's not ready for other people's stuff.
Yeah.
But I never thought in my head I wanted to run a run a label. Do I want that responsibility? But yeah, I think maybe one day, you never know. But I will say this:
Yeah.
I wanted it as well to be, if I was going to do this, because I've got some projects lined up where I want to bring house and hip hop back together,
Ooh.
because
Yeah.
it goes hand in hand. They're both from the same place.
Chicago, Detroit.
So I don't know. Is that like art? That 90s art house? You know, like the voguing and the like NYC like LGBT
Yeah.
community vibe. that is still active in some places, but I feel like it's not as accessible as it could be, or not as prevalent as it could be in London. Like just barrel hedonism parties, just sex, rock and roll, other things.
Yeah. Anything you've got that like you want people to know, like what should they anticipate from Bostock?
Just to like just look after yourselves now. It's really tough. It's really tough now, and anyone who says it's not is probably just not wanting to say. So just reach out to all your friends, like really, like even if they, it's just that connection that we're not having right now, and I'm struggling from it. So it's good to reach out, just look after each other, and from me, maybe some music videos, stuff like that. Yeah, but that's about it, really.
Sweet. Where does the name Bostock come from?
Oh, Bostock is from my mum's side.
Bostock, yeah.
Yeah, and
What's your family surname?
Yeah. My dad's surname is Newark, but there's actually quite a few DJ Newarks because Newark is a really big airport in America, and I didn't realize. So originally I was Newark, and I thought, oh no, actually I can't do Newark because there's already quite well established people who are like DJ Newark. Yeah, and also Bostock it means something. It's like ancient English for like a person of a lower class, I think, or something like that.
Proletariat revolution.
Yeah.
And could you give a shout out to one established artist or two established artists that like inspire you, and two artists that are more underground that you think people should check out? But I must tell you, you've got a minute.
Okay, right. I adore Leon Vinehall. Just the stuff he makes is just so ethereal, and he's a massive influence on my life.
And you know him personally as well, right?
Huh?
And you know him personally as well?
Oh yeah, no, I met him once at a Bleep thing, and he was just so lovely, and I told him about my mum, and like he's just such a honest, like down to earth guy.
We just got cut off because of his Zoom time limit, and you were just talking about like Tapiwa and how he is an underground artist you're a fan of.
Yeah, no, he's like one of my oldest friends, and he like makes like the classic true talking about his feelings, and the way he does it is just like really, I just really like it. Even if he wasn't my mate, it's one of them ones.
Yeah, how do you know him? Like you said, he's one of your oldest friends, like from school days.
Yeah, we met in college. The first day of college, which is just crazy. Like I had no friends whatsoever, and we met like on day one because I was playing. I brought my laptop in, and I didn't go to any of the inductions, so I didn't know anyone there. And you know that awkward moment where you don't plug in your headphones quick enough, and then it just really loudly plays to everyone what you were listening to.
Exactly.
It did that with Kate Shinada, and like no one knew. No one knew about Kate Shinada back then. Like it was quite underground still. And and he heard it, and he went, "Is that Holy Hole in a Donut?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he went, "Yo, I'm coming over." And then we like started chatting and that.
So,
yeah, so it was one of those beautiful, like, just random chance encounters. And my other mate, Basti, I met, like, at that same time, because they both like Kitchenada as well, so it just kind of fit.
So, is there another underground artist you want to give a shout out to?
I can't say, like, one, because I know so many, but I could say the whole of the air and electricity movement. All of those artists are.
I'm sure they all appreciate it. You've like mixed all of them multiple times.
I remember, and all of those dodgy Southampton venues.
Yeah.
No, like honestly, all of like it's an honor to be able to have that trust put in you to be the selector for the night and to play the tracks and things, because you're putting the trust in that person to be able to do it. So that in of itself is like a real big honor for me. But the like just any of those artists that you can see by watching them that they care about the craft, what they're saying is from the heart.
Right.
Like they're doing this for themselves and like to get it out in there, but they're doing it for themselves most of all, which is really important because they're really enjoying it. And you know, to anyone watching this, when lockdown's over, you've got to come to one of these events and just see the energy is just incredible. And it's like, do you know, I've just thought of this, and you might find this funny, right?
Yeah.
But the air and electricity shows for me, and like the in a house set, you generally have peaks and troughs, and like a waveform, you know, an audio waveform. You go up, you go down, energy, low energy. And like, I love the air and electricity shows because almost true to the name of, you know, air, calm, and electricity, dark. It is like an electronic set. You have these high energy, tense moments, and then you have these real deep, chilled out vibes.
Like even when we were doing exclusively just rap shows, we like having a mix of different kind of rappers, which bring different like vibes and energy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, and the way that you've done it is just great. So you know, you need to congratulate yourself for that, man.
Appreciate that. And before you say a second goodbye, because of course we had you saying goodbye, but when the video started out, and now we like done a call again. But before you say a second goodbye, gotta give a big thanks to you for like inspiring me to start Electricity. Because like January 2019, you took me to that Lemsey or something, but like that
Lemsey, yeah.
rhyme rappers like album opening party, and you're just telling me stuff about the business and how there's opportunities for people like but just love music, even if it's not as like an artist or whatever. So like I appreciate you greatly for that.
You know, you're too kind, bro. You were the perfect person for it. I thought, you know, who can I take you to this? Shouts out Lemsey as well, by the way, because you know he's done bits since. He's done bits since that show, you know, and it's like
Radio 1 and stuff, right?
Yeah, and to think, I think I was saying to you this the other week, you know, you think back to, I remember when we were both really nervous for that, you know, the first one and stuff, and it's like, oh,
yeah,
what's going on?
It's and like,
yeah, and it's funny because he would have been nervous for that show as well. Definitely. He said he was, and now we saw him then, and now you become that nervous, like wondering how it's going to go.
Yeah.
And now it's gone the way it has, and it's brilliant. It's like cycles. It's all come. It's all come round.
The Tao of the music industry.
Yeah, definitely. But it's great. You know what you guys are doing is beautiful. No crabs in a bucket, bringing each other all up. Real nice. You know, like tight knit community. And it's really, really good, especially in like a cutthroat industry, because you know, hip hop can be quite, you know, cutthroat. Yeah. So you know what you guys are doing is beautiful, and I hope that in the same way that we were inspired, like people could be inspired by you and what you guys are doing to do their own things, like Fight Club.
I love that.
Yeah, collective inspiring other, you know, the other collectives. Yeah.
So for your second goodbye, is there anything you want to say again?
Yeah, just, you know, look after yourselves.
Oh yeah, the article you got featured in recently.
Oh yeah.
We'll drop the link in your bio.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah. Accelerator. I've always listened to their mixes. They like really
electronic music mag. Are they an electronic music mag? Accelerator.
Yeah. So I think originally they were, and then they've branched off to other genres, but they do like, you know, their electronic music. And I've always listened to their music, like their mixes, the people they put on. And they have this really, they decided to go fully, like The Guardian. They went fully subscriber only, like not subscriber only, but it's funded by subscribers.
Mm.
So it's, which is good in a sense, you know, because of the whole, if you don't pay for your news, who's paying for your news, right? So they have this amazing feature on the Plus if you are a monthly subscriber, where you can submit your music to them. And I really didn't think that they would pick, but they liked it enough to share it. So they've put Neverland on the April roundup.
Nice.
Which is a huge honor, because I mean that magazine is great, and there aren't many great like real sort of underground lifting publication accelerator around anymore. So yeah, it's I still don't believe it really myself. So it's quite an honor to be on there. So I can't thank the team over there and Luke enough for that. So yeah. But no, also like in the goodbye, I just do want to say, you know, like this is a really tough time, especially for us as well. So just got to look after each other, and like reach out, and you know, but use this time, I guess, is what I've been saying to everyone. Use this time to build yourself up, do what you can, so that when this is over, you can just, you know, pop back if you can.
Yeah. It'll be over soon, and it'll be like a dream.
Yes, exactly.
So thank you very much, Bostock, for joining us on the second episode of Eye to Eye, a colloquial timestamp. It was great talking to you.
Thank you so much for having me on, brother. Thank you.
Anytime. We appreciate it.
Big love.